It's cherry season, and I have more cherries on this tree than I know what to do with. Pie is very popular to make, but today we're going to be making cherry crumble bars with these cherries. Let's pick some cherries. This cherry tree is very tall, and the cherries are way up top. Now it's easy to get the low-hanging fruit, but how do you get this stuff up top? Well, we've got this improvised cherry picker here. Let me demonstrate to you how I use it to pick cherries from these branches way up high. So as I stick this long pole up into the tree, I do my best to slip the coat hanger here that's bent into a hook around the cherries, and with some subtle movements, the coat hanger causes the cherries to come off and hopefully land in the bucket, but sometimes I'm not lucky and they fall to the ground. So this is how I harvest the cherries from the top of the tree. And to make the crumble, I'm going to need a lot more cherries. So I'm going to be up in this tree for quite a while. Now that I've finished harvesting, it's time to wash these cherries and pit them. So I've got a basic cherry pitter here. I'll put a link to it in the description below. Essentially, you just feed the cherries through it, and with some mechanical action, the arm here knocks the pit out of the cherry and then ejects the cherry into a container that you put on the other end. So this process does not take much time at all. It's a bit tedious, but it keeps you, for the most part, from biting into cherry pits while you're enjoying cherry pie or cherry crumble as we're making here. So I'm pitting these cherries and I'm collecting them in a stock pot, because from the stock pot we're gonna make the cherry preserves, which we're gonna use as our filling for our cherry crumble bars. So for this recipe, we're going to need about 2 cups of pitted cherries, and you can see that in the stock pot here. So taking the stock pot, we're going to put it on the stove at around medium heat, and we're going to cook these cherries down until there's liquid in the container. And then to the cherries, we're going to add some sugar, about 1 cup, I've got some cornstarch here to also add. You want to dissolve it in water beforehand, otherwise the stuff will not dissolve in the mixture and you'll get lumps when you're baking your pie or your cherry crumble bars. So you'll add that into the stock pot and it'll thicken up the mixture a bit. You'll cook that a bit longer and then you can set aside the cherry preserves. Now from the preserves you can actually can them and save them for quite a while, maybe about a year. But we're going to be using these fresh today to make our cherry crumble bars. Alright, moving into our cherry crumble, you'll see the ingredients listed before you. I'm starting by layering a pan here with butter. That way I can put some parchment paper down and it will stick to it. Parchment paper is what the bottom of the crumble will stick to. So next I'm going to melt some butter. And we're going to cream it with half a cup of sugar, the baking powder, baking soda, and salt. And then to this, we're going to add flour. The mixture will represent coarse meal by the time we're done. This mixture, we're going to take about 75% of it and we're going to put it on the bottom of the pan here. And squish it flat. For recipes like these, I like to take a fork and aerate the bottom of the crust, therefore we don't create any air bubbles. Now over the crust we're going to pour the cherry preserve mix. Then we're going to take the remainder of the crumb mixture and cover the top of the cherry filling. And on top of that, we're going to sprinkle some sugar over the top of that. This mixture then goes in the oven, and this bakes for about 25 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And then it'll come out of the oven, and you'll want to let it cool for a bit to get the layers to set. Otherwise, if you cut into it too early, the whole crumble will come apart and, well, you'll have a delicious mess. And so that's how you cook the cherry crumble bars. I think this is a much easier alternative to baking pie. It's much quicker, and I think it tastes better, but that might be because you have a lot more sugar in it.
greensandmachines.com.
Enjoy!